Now, we're getting towards the end here of the presentation, and this is a book it's from 81, but it really feels like something from the 70s. It's called Up from Seltzer. It's kind of like a comic book joke collection. Is anyone familiar with it? Anyone come across it? The subtitle, A Handy Guide to 4 Jewish Generations. Now, I have to say right off the bat, this book is not about seltzer. That image from the beginning of the Jews going up to Moses, but instead of the tablets, he's holding a seltzer bottle. That's the only thing about seltzer in the whole thing. And it's humorous, but that's it. The rest is just the cover and the title. And this concept of Up from Seltzer, it's a comic thing talking about, at least in the 70s, 4 generations of Jews. Right? We can see right here, these are the 4 generations. We have the very, very unhappy, dowdy-looking, fresh off the boat immigrants, right? Look, I don't know if that's his frown or his mustache, right? He's very unhappy. So let's say this is around, the 1910s or something. Then we get to the 1930s, and they're looking a little more American now, right? She's got the hair and the glasses, and still kind of frowning, right? And now maybe get up to the 50s. Now they're kind of starting to look hip. Daddy's got this, no more yarmulke on his head or hat. He's got some cool hair. He's got like his chest open. He's wearing the chai, right? And now, I guess this is supposed to be the good time, right? Check this out, right? It's kind of like weird post-hippies 70s thing with the glasses and the peace sign, and they're happy, right? So there's this idea that Up from Seltzer represents this idea that we have moved up from something, up from this unassimilated Jewish American past that we're happy to get away from. So, because boy, they don't look very happy. Who wants to be them, right? And this idea of seltzer is not representing these Jews in the 70s, right? It's up from seltzer. It's them. And what we're seeing here is what we started to see over the course of the century, was that seltzer wasn't just identified with Jews by Jews, it was also being identified with a certain period of time of Jewish American history. One which, at the time that this book came out, was not one of pride, right, but one of shame. Wanting to get away from that, get up from it, right? And if this book was made now, we'd have a fifth image. And what we'd have is a bunch of young, hip Jews on the Lower East Side, right, at a bar. Because let me tell you, the Lower East Side is hotter than it's ever been. MTV just launched a virtual world, and if you don't know what a virtual world is, just think of it as a really cool 3D website to promote music. And it's called Virtual Lower East Side, where you actually can go into Lower East Side clubs, real ones, in this virtual space and hear real music. That's how hip the Lower East Side is now. And so this fifth box will be folks who are identifying with these folks, but also assimilated, but holding on to their past. So seltzer has changed quite a bit from this book, when this book came out. I thought it was a great document of a period in time and a view from that period of time. But most importantly, that piece about seltzer. That piece about how seltzer, which is just water and air. It's all it is. And yet, Mickey Mouse, just 3 circles, 1 big one and 2 small, one was most recognized icon. Seltzer is so iconic that people can ascribe to it almost anything they want. And what you call seltzer, you can also call soda water, you can call it carbonated water, right? But we call it seltzer. And when we call it seltzer, we ascribe to it all sorts of meaning. And one of the things that amazes me the most about seltzer is how this thing, which is really nothing, can contain so much. What's your name?
David Zinman. I was a newspaper man. I worked for Newsday and the Associated Press, and I was a medical writer.
If it wasn't for seltzer, how would your life be different?
Well, I wouldn't feel Jewish, I guess.
If it weren't for seltzer, my life would not be any different.
Please repeat after me together. GiveMeSeltzer.com.
GiveMeSeltzer.com.
If you'd like to follow the research or listen to the podcast or post your own stories, come to GiveMeSeltzer.com. Thank you very much.